What's up, everybody? This is your boy Fatine.
And I'm Aja.
We're Kindred, the family soul. And we are here for an episode of Kindred Presents. In a sense, a special, unique episode.
Yes.
Because there's a lot going on in the world. But some good friends of ours from Chicago have trekked the road and come to the city of Philadelphia for what I believe is the first time.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
Very
Fantastic.
first time. Good friends of ours, Aniba and the Soul Stars, are here, and we would love to introduce you to the girls.
So, ladies, please let the people know. Let's go down the line and tell everybody exactly who you are. Right here to my right is...
I am Aniba.
Hey, Aniba.
Hey, Aniba.
What's
Well,
up,
I
what's
know,
up?
but they need to know.
Right.
Aniba of Aniba and the Soul Stars. And this is our first time here. We're nervous.
Oh, don't be. Don't be. The energy is beautiful in the room. We're here to support and love
Okay.
one another.
Well, I'm more so nervous, just the whole, contagion thing. We're here in the middle of just in case, for the archives.
We're
in the middle of a plague right now. And we're here dressed up with makeup.
Indeed, because
Yeah.
that's how you want to do during the time like
if you're
now.
gonna,
if you're
ride
going to go
out,
down the night.
So I agree. So yeah, actually, in spite of everything, the vibe is really great. Like I really like the feeling here, like the diversity, and even though it's a quiet energy right now, we want to come back in the summer. You can still tell that like it's really just alive and teeming with creativity. We've been to today, but I've enjoyed myself.
Fantastic.
We've been to today, but I've enjoyed myself.
Fantastic. Well, welcome.
My name is Caress.
I'm Neri. Hello.
So it's Aniba, Caress, and Neri,
Yeah.
the band that makes up the unit because they're a very integral part of the group. You guys are one of the upper echelon. Follow what you do.
Yeah.
Want to be like what you do as well. And we can talk
Absolutely.
a little bit about that. But tell us about the guys that...
So the heart and soul.
One of them is actually here as
yes,
well. Will.
the heart and soul of our musicians, the elite lineup would be MD Mr. William Baggett. He's
Yeah.
been with
William's
us
here.
very
Hello.
beginning.
Hey, Will.
And Will is so intricate to me because he understands all of my hand gestures, legitimate. Some of them aren't. And he follows them all. He understands them and he's able to interpret them to other musicians. So that is how things run so smoothly.
Yes, indeed. And so,
And give us the rest of the guys.
okay.
Well, we have an interesting roster right now. We're kind of in a rebuilding year. But currently we have Mr. Sam Mitchell, this kind of guitar virtuoso.
Yes.
Like he's just an amazing.
He's incredible.
He's a young guy, but he's
Yeah,
ambitious and
he's
he's very, very talented.
Very,
Yeah.
very good. On keys and drums, we have a very impressive rotation of people. Most recently, we worked with Mr. Paul Hall. We've worked with Mr. Anthony Stevens. On keys, you all help me out a little bit.
And don't forget Isaiah Sharkey.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the production is
Yeah.
really
Yes.
handled a lot by Isaiah Sharkey, who is a
Yes.
really great
Amazing.
musician and great producer who's
Yes. he
actually on tour with John Mayer right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
And tell us, how did you guys connect, of course, from Chicago area, but how did you guys actually connect with Isaiah as being the production for the group?
Well, like most musician communities, and even in large cities, the musician community is still kind of small. But for whatever reason, we were kind of drawn to each other. Like very early on, he'd be like, "I'm in the band," and we'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, like this dude's credentials are amazing." So we always, kind of welcomed him with open arms. But within the last few years, specifically, as he has turned into this just incredible powerhouse performer, because he was already an amazing
Grammy
producer.
winner.
He's just coming into
And,
his own.
Yeah. So he has decided, or he decided rather that he wanted to work with us. And sometimes still, I'm just like, wow, that's like really cool, because when other musicians who are exceptional reach out to you, you feel like you're doing something right. Because a lot of times you're performing and people are telling you that you're good, but you don't always know. You don't always know. This is a fickle industry that we're in. So when you have someone who is firm and who is kind of undeniably talented, who supports you and wants to work with you, it's always a sign that you're in the right
Great
direction.
measuring stick.
Well, birds of a feather flock together, and usually if somebody sees something in you, it's either something that they see in you or something that you already have that is attracting them to that. So surely you guys are equally yoked. I want to talk a little bit about, if it's okay, about Chicago and you guys' connection to Chicago. A friend of ours, who's a mutual friend of ours, George Daniels, I know that he's a part of you guys' story. I would love to know a little bit about that connection and you guys being a part of his record store and, you know, how the music community is so intertwined.
Okay. Well, I moved to Chicago. I'm not going to get into the year. That doesn't matter. Moved there, and I was doing music store retail when that was still a thing. A lot of millennials.
When music
might
stores
not,
were really a thing.
That old thing.
It was the perfect kind of job if you loved music, but you weren't in the business yet. You could talk about music all day long. And I was at another franchise for about a year, and I got asked to work at George's
Music Room.
George's Music Room within the first year or so of me being in Chicago. So being new to the city, I'd never heard of it. So when I got there, like that summer alone, I think it was Destiny's Child, it was like Puff. It was just like a circus. I was just like, is this real? Like, it was chefs, and I was just like, whoa, it was just a whole experience. So I worked there for several years, as well as, he's off camera, but as well as our manager, Ishmael White. So George and I and Ishmael have a history. We go back some years. Again, we're not going to get into the number, it doesn't matter, but we go back.
You spoke about Chicago, George's Music Room, and he really described you and Ishmael specifically as being like his children. He's very much invested in the future of this group and just loving you and supporting you. And with you being a bit of a Chicago transplant, I'd love to know how you came to know these other lovely young ladies who I believe are Chicago natives, correct?
Yes. I love Chicago transplant. That was cool. You did that with that. I like the Chicago transplant.
I mean, I understand because I'm known for being a Philadelphia artist, but I'm a Philadelphia transplant.
Yes.
So
It's
Philly.
a duality,
Yes,
like
pull
a dual
musically
citizenship.
into the
city.
Indeed.
Well, I met them all. The connection is George's Music Room, because that's how I met our manager, and that's how I then met Neri and then Caress. It was kind of just a timeline.
I was doing music solo with Ishmael, helping produce, and it was a local producer we were working with. And then they met because he would always still frequent George's. So then the three of us kind of started doing music together, and then we had put together this solo stuff. I had solo stuff, and then someone had a rap career, but we're not going to talk about that right now, Ishmael. And yeah, so that's y'all get him on next time. And but we all had that together on and sending out and shopping it and that kind of thing. And then we took a break, and then we came back together, and then we started out just doing things with a band, and then we brought another singer in. She came along with her lovely self, and she was like, I like what's going on, guys. And so she met him too, though, because he's always kind of the glue, because she met him through the producer that we had been working with. She was doing stuff, she was in a group, and so that, kind of took a break, and then she wound up coming along with us. So,
but I love the way this whole thing works, and it's very unique, particularly in the landscape of music these days. And
it's not a lot of girl groups.
There are not a lot of girl groups, and not a lot of groups. Period. We're not really getting the love that we used to get. But in terms of, what I love about what you guys do is that there's so many influences in the kind of music that the band pulls together. Right. And I would love to know. Influenced you guys, and what did you say, okay, this is what we're trying to do, and this is what we're trying to pull together? What's the vision for Aniba and the Soul Stars?
Well, we always like to say, and I believe this as well, that we're the natural progression of soul. We all come from, I feel safe in saying, we all come from what would be considered, I guess, a general background of gospel music and R&B, but, I also, because I'm a transplant, and I'm a small town girl, was part right. So I have other things going on. I have a little country, a little rock and roll, some other things going on. But when we got together, we were all inspired by first off the neo. If I said that we weren't, we were all inspired by hip hop. all inspired by like what I would call classic R&B, like 80s and things were a factor. So when we came together and brought our collective sound, we were like, we want to be what would next step in that. So it's kind of a hybrid of all of these different influences. So that's the best way I think I could describe it.
We've gotten an opportunity to share the stage with you guys many times in the Chicago area. I'm thankful that you're here in the Philadelphia area today. But, you know, from the time that we met you up until now, and most just in Chicago just a few weeks ago, and we performed together, and you guys let me hear this new record that you have, that you are here today, actually, and you filmed the video with some good friends of ours, Hezekiah and Dan and Amir, and it's going to be an incredible video. We want to say that before the video comes. This record, Call Me, that you have put out into the universe right now, and it's the single that you're working. I want to know about that and when we can expect a record, a full record from the band.
Wow, you just hit me with it. Okay. Call Me came about because we were just kind of talking about not necessarily a lack, because that's a whole nother conversation, but just what we wanted to continue to bring to the table musically. And like what in my opinion would be a classical R&B song, Call Me just kind of had all of those elements, where it was almost retro, but then it had like all of these kind of cool futuristic influences as well. So we were just really excited from the jump to do that. As far as a finished project, we are currently going in the studio. We have some elemental factors going on now, of course, but we expect a project to be done maybe by the end of the summer, definitely.
God willing, God willing.
I love that you said that Call Me is a classic, like a quintessential R&B tune.
That's how I
it
feel.
Really is. It has
you.
all
It's
of
an
those
amazing
elements.
record.
It's a really great record. And what I love the most about it is that, and maybe this is just a singer's thing, I don't know, but there's room in it.
Oh, yeah.
There's moments to breathe, to take in what's been said,
And just
to
feel.
anticipate the next moment.
Yeah.
And vocally, and I think it's not overwhelmed by the fact that there's this 3-part harmony on many parts. It just feels like it just eases in, and everything is so easy. I would love to know about the chemistry between the three of you as vocalists, and what are some of the things that you guys like to leave people with in terms of your vocal styling and your approach to being this 3-woman group, because we ain't no girls up here.
Right.
Well, first off, do you all want to?
I mean, if you're talking, you can talk. I can chime in regards
Okay.
to
Let's hear
like,
from you.
just about what we enjoy or our chemistry as vocalists. I think, and a lot of people can probably attest to this too, they love our harmonies. And I feel like over the years, it's just become kind of second nature. We can just fall in and be in sync. And that comes from bad sound, So we look, we got to be on it. And just loving what we do, loving each other, and then just knowing who we are as individuals and what we bring to the table as a whole. And we know that our audience is looking for that. So we try to bring back that, again, the soulful sound that you would hear back in the 70s when you heard all the voices, like the emotions and things of that nature. So we try to give them that. And I think we're always kind of just thinking about that, like giving you those tones. Yeah.
Very, very unique group of vocalists.
Yeah.
Everybody has a specific tone, and one that you don't hear all the time. One of the things that we consistently deal with is that there's a tone that becomes popular, and everybody
Monotone.
has the same
Everyone
tone. And so this particular tone is quite lovely and
Thank
just
you.
warm and fantastic. And we look forward to hearing so much more material down the line and touring the whole
appreciate
nine.
that.
Yes,
Can't
we
wait.
gotta wish you guys a lot of success,
Thank
and we want to
you.
wish you safe travels on your
Thank
trip back
you.
home to Chicago, and of course to let you know that you are always welcome in Philadelphia and welcome with anything that we have any part of. We love you, we appreciate you, we respect you, and we wish you much success with this record and everything that you do going forward. God bless you.
Thank
And
you.
We'll see you soon.
He said, "Have a good
Okay.
night."
I wanted to say something quickly.
We do want y'all to do a little stripped down version of Call Me Tonight, if it's okay.
Okay.
I know we don't got the whole band.
We will.
We got to do a little something.
It's
For
okay.
you all, anything.
But we want to thank you all.
Yes, because you all have been so supportive and almost nurturing, and like we really, really appreciate it. The music business is not guaranteed. There are no promises. You could do it for years and it still might not pan out. And for you all to, just kind of
Put a hug on
put
us.
a
That Philly hug.
it wasn't
Love and
something
music is
you
all
had to
deserved.
do, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, you guys are fierce,
Thank
and
you.
for
Oh,
those
thank
of you
you.
out there who are just getting to know Aniba and the Soul Stars, their live show is off the chain. Yes, indeedy. So are
love
y'all
it.
gonna sing the song for us or what?
Yes.
We will.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I'm into it. I'm gonna be right there on the front row.
Thank
Well,
We
y'all
hope
stay
so.
tuned
Cutting
for
up.
everything that Aniba and the Soul Stars have
Yes,
going
yes.
on. Keep your eye on Chicago because there's a lot of talent coming out of that city. God bless y'all.
Peace.
Thank you.
All right, cameras rolling? Yeah. Action.
So much more. There's a beauty inside your soul I just adore. Don't be in the day or night. I'll be waiting. Fly like a bird in the sky to safety. Don't be in the day or night. I'll be waiting. Oh yeah. Baby, don't pause. Make that call. In love we bow and stand through it all. Conversations full of life, so touching. Everything is right on time, no rushing. Appreciation for the sun and the rain. Flowers will grow, just call my name. Call me in the day, all night. I'll be waiting. Fly like a bird in the sky to safety. Call me in the day, all night. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. Call me in the day or night. I'll be waiting. Fly like a bird in the sky to safety. Call me in the day or night. I'll be waiting. I'll
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Fatine.
And I'm Aja.
We're Kindred, the
The
family
Family
soul,
Soul.
and everybody's home. So while you're home, why don't you go over to YouTube and check out Kindred Presents? We've got lots of great episodes there with lots of great content. All of the artists that you enjoy, go by and check it out right now.
R&B, hip hop,
Soul.
Hollywood, and Hollywood.
Oh, hi. She's not lying.